Join me as I step into the hot seat and confront Pastor John Gray about his cheating scandals and the hypocrisy surrounding them. Leandria Johnson and Pastor John Gray are two household names in the gospel music scene and the church community. Both have inspired millions with their powerful voices and inspiring messages, but recently, their names have been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Pastor John Gray has been embroiled in cheating scandals that have left many in the church community feeling betrayed and confused. The questions on everyone's lips are, how could someone who preaches about moral integrity and honesty fall so short of their own standard? What about the hypocrisy of condemning others for their sins while hiding their own behind a mask of righteousness? It's a sad reality that many of us have witnessed before, but it's always painful to see someone we respect fall from grace. The thing that gets my goat is that Pastor Gray has been accused of using his position of power to manipulate and exploit those around him. If the allegations are true, it's not just a personal failing, but a betrayal of trust on a massive scale. You can't preach about the importance of honesty and integrity while secretly indulging in the very behavior you condemn in others. That's hypocrisy at its finest, and it's something that needs to be called out. The church community is already reeling from the scandals, and it's about time someone took a stand and said, enough is enough. It's not enough to just apologize and move on. There needs to be real accountability and a willingness to face the consequences of one's actions. Otherwise, we're just perpetuating a culture of hypocrisy and enabling bad behavior. Leandria Johnson has been vocal about her own experiences with accountability in the church, and it's refreshing to hear someone speaking truth to power. She's not afraid to call out hypocrisy when she sees it, and that takes a lot of courage. I think we can all learn from her example and start demanding more from our leaders. After all, if we're going to preach about moral integrity, we need to be willing to practice it ourselves. Leandria's perspective is particularly interesting because she's been on the receiving end of judgment and criticism from the very same people who are now accused of hypocrisy. She's been open about her own struggles and failures, and that takes a lot of guts. It's easy to point fingers and judge others, but it's much harder to look in the mirror and acknowledge our own shortcomings. Leandria's willingness to do just that is something we can all learn from. I think what's most disturbing about this whole situation is the way the church community has rallied around Pastor Gray, despite the allegations against him. It's almost as if they're more concerned with protecting their own reputation than with seeking truth and justice. That's a toxic culture that needs to be changed, and it starts with holding our leaders accountable for their actions. We can't just sweep this under the rug and pretend it never happened. It's time for the church community to take a hard look at itself and ask some tough questions. Are we more concerned with appearances than with true integrity? Are we willing to hold our leaders accountable, or do we just want to protect our own interests? These are questions that need to be answered, and Leandria Johnson is leading the charge. So what happened when Leandria Johnson confronted Pastor John Gray about his cheating scandals and the hypocrisy surrounding them? Well, let me tell you, it was a moment that will be etched in my memory forever. During an interview, Leandria directly asked Pastor Gray about the allegations against him, and his response was telling. Instead of owning up to his mistakes and taking responsibility, he tried to deflect and shift the blame. It was a masterclass in gaslighting, and it was disturbing to watch. The exchange was tense and uncomfortable, but it was also necessary. We need to start having these tough conversations in the church community, and we need to start calling out hypocrisy when we see it. Leandria Johnson's bravery in confronting Pastor Gray should be applauded, and it's a testament to her commitment to seeking truth and justice. In the end, the confrontation between Leandria Johnson and Pastor John Gray was a powerful reminder that accountability is essential in the church community. We can't just preach about honesty and integrity. We need to practice it ourselves. And when we fail, as we inevitably will, we need to be willing to face the consequences of our actions. So what do you guys think about the confrontation between Leandria Johnson and Pastor John Gray? Do you think Pastor Gray's response was adequate, or did he fail to take responsibility for his actions? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out another related video on church accountability.